This is Eagle Owl, and today I will be talking about the W we got against the Commanders. Yes, it was a nail biter, but got that W. But let's get straight into it. All right, nail biter, man. I did not expect that, to be honest. I thought we was gonna beat them by a large margin, but things happen. Commanders are a division rival. It happens. For some reason, they've been beating us at the link. I gotta keep it real, but it was good to get a win at the link against the Commanders. B, the NFL officials that game gotta be investigated, man. They definitely have to be investigated. I mean, some of the penalties, especially in the first half, was ridiculous. I mean, the Landon Dickerson thing was ridiculous. But let's go by group. You know, I like to do offense, defense. Maybe I talk special teams. Who knows? Maybe I do. But let me go over what happened. So the good is that we got the W. We simply got the W. So that's what you wanted to do. Leave out of here 4-0. We know we got a tough opponent in a couple games, and the Dolphins, which the Dolphins look very beatable after today. But yeah, that's the good. We got the W. We escaped with the W, even after going overtime. We got the W. All right, so the offense. I mean, Jalen Hurts. I mean, phenomenal. Over 300 yards. We already know AJ Brown had about 175, if not 175 exact, and 2 touchdowns. Devontae Smith was awesome. The run game really didn't get it going this game. This game was more of a passing game. I mean, they run defense did show up. I can't lie. We know how to drive the ball down the field. I would say that. We know how to drive the ball down the field. But when we in that red zone, it's so difficult for us to get a touchdown. I mean, the play calling gets super ridiculous. I mean, Brian Johnson. And I feel so bad for Kenneth Gainwell because I felt like they basically benched him after this because it was 3rd and 11. We probably at the 25 or something, or at the 20. We in the red zone for sure. And Brian Johnson decides to hand it off to Kenneth Gainwell, which he ended up fumbling, and we recovered and got 3 points out of it. But Kenneth Gainwell got to hold on to the ball. But Brian Johnson, why call that play? Hell, if you're going to give it to anybody in situational downs and you just want to hand it off on the 3rd and 11, you might as well just give Swift a shot. But Jalen Hurts is cooking. Jalen Hurts is literally cooking at this moment. You got to ride the hot hand, right? That's the word, ride the hot hand. You're supposed to put the ball in Jalen Hurts' hand, and hopefully he find Devontae Smith or AJ Brown. That's what you're supposed to do. Not supposed to put it in Gainwell's hand on 3rd and 11. That was just a blasphemy play call. I just don't get it. But like I said, the run game wasn't all that. I did see Jalen Hurts look like Jalen Hurts in some moments. I mean, when he escaped a sack, turned possibly a 9-yard loss into like a 20-some yard gain. The big throws, like I said, to AJ Brown, giving Devontae Smith a shot, even though he got hit. The ball would have basically been a touchdown, but Jalen Hurts got hit. Devontae Smith trashed the ball very well. And one hell of a catch. One hell of a catch over Emmanuel Forbes. Emmanuel Forbes had to give up at least like 220. Jalen Hurts was like, okay, y'all want to keep picking at Job? All right, we're going to pick on Forbes. And Forbes got picked on today. He definitely did. AJ manhandled him. Devontae Smith manhandled him. He a rookie. He got some things to learn. But all in all, I was very satisfied with the passing game, but the red zone, I simply don't get it. Jordan Mailata, gotta call you up. I gotta call you up to the front of the line, man. You let Chase Young look like old Chase Young, man. I gotta call you up to the front of the line. Really, Chase Young? And we all know Jordan Mailata, we all love him. But when it comes to those speed pass rushers, he struggled. I mean, I got to keep it real. But all in all, the line did good. Even with Cam Jurgens going out, I think Opeta did a good job. He did a decent job, I would say. But some reason when the analytics come out, is always something different. Because, like I'm saying right now, with no analytics, I believe Jordan Mailata had a bad game. The analytics might say something totally different. But as far as what I seen, Chase Young was beating him one-on-one. But as the game went on, he started slowing Chase Young down. And Chase Young started looking like old Chase Young. But again, man, the passing game was one of those games. The run game, couldn't get it going. Passing game was awesome. Now let's go into the defense. Defense, I was very disappointed. Very disappointed. I thought it was going to be one of those games where our defensive line really eat. And ironically, it was the linebacker group. I mean, I love the tandem of Cunningham and Murrow. I think Murrow alone had 11 tackles, like I think 3 QB hits or something like that, and 3 sacks. His numbers was ridiculous. If I remember off the top of my head, it was something like that. First half, Slay, I was disappointed. I can't lie. I'm like, yo, maybe we should have let Slay walk. I was literally thinking that as the first half. I'm like, maybe we should have let Slay walk. Maybe we should have possibly tried to get somebody in a draft or trade for somebody. But Slay, he started locking up after a while. But I will tell you one thing I don't like. I don't like Bradbury in the slot, because when Slay went out, whatever injury, Sam Howell is crazy. He tried to throw it towards James Bradbury. James Bradbury do this on the outside. Then he knew Reed Blankenship would be right there, and Reed Blankenship actually took the wrong angle, and he still almost caught a pick. But he tried James Bradbury on the outside, and that was a no-no. But we need Slay back on the outside, because this is going to be the game plan every single game. And the past 2 games is somewhat worked, right? The game plan is don't throw a Slay way, don't throw a Bradbury way on the slot. Just pick on Job. I mean, you don't want that when you got, well, I don't want to think too ahead, but when you got Tyreek Hill and Waddle coming up, you don't want their game plan to be attack Job. Like, that's the game plan. Just attack Job. Like, I would rather us trade deadline coming up, go get a slot or go get a safety, because Edmonds was terrible. Yes, Edmonds was terrible. I would actually say now get a slot corner over a safety, because I know Sidney Brown and Evans is coming back. But Edmonds was terrible. I mean, he dropped a pick. To me, he looked slow sideline to sideline. Some plays he just looked completely lost. They was attacking the middle, getting at him, and I knew they was gonna come up with that game plan, because I'm like, yo, if it take us too long with 4 pass rushes to get there, they're gonna attack that middle, and that's what start happening. Then I like what Sean Desai did. Like, you know what, I'm gonna bring the blitz, I'm gonna bring a linebacker, and that's how Murrow was getting his sacks. So again, they offensive line held up better than expected. You'll lead that game. I think we had like 5 sacks that game, if I'm not mistaken, but it didn't feel like it, because I think Josh Sweat had 1, Murrow had 3, and Hassan Reddick had 1, if I'm not mistaken. I know Fletch almost got there. He was getting a lot of QB hits again today, because Jalen Carter was getting doubled a lot, and he was almost there a lot. I think 1 tackle Howell actually broke of Jalen Carter, but I think we got about 5 sacks, if I'm not mistaken. But it didn't. Again, it just didn't feel like it. It felt like Howell was cooking, and he was a little bit. He was, because he will hang in the pocket and wait for a guy to get open. He will do that, and that's what he was doing. And some guys were getting open. Terry McLaurin, the Brown kid, was getting open, but what they were doing, again, just attack Job. Whoever Job is on, that's who Howell was going after. And again, this is Job really first time starting, but he got a little long ways to go. So I just simply don't like Bradbury on the outside because I think he's so dynamic, and we're missing that. We're missing that. Like, we starting to feel the effects of not having Maddox there and not having no solidified slot there. Hell, I would rather them at this moment just give the slot to Mario Goodrich and just pray for the best and put Bradbury on the outside, or hopefully this thing with Sidney Brown don't linger too long. Let him guard most of the slot and have Bradbury on the outside. Because again, the Washington exposed that. They did a better job than the Buccaneers of exposing Joe, but we'll see when the numbers come out, I would say, because there were a lot of balls thrown at Joe, and there was a lot of big plays that were happening too. Run defense was still phenomenal. But I would say this probably was one of our worst defensive game because Howell had a little bit more time again than a little bit more time than what we expected, and what that time he had, he was able to cook. Man. That felt like a Jonathan Gannon game. We was playing a little soft because we wanted to protect Job. It felt like, and it almost cost us the game. Luckily, it didn't, because that man, Jalen Hurts, cooked. But that's basically my summary of the game, of what happened. But I would say this is like my final thoughts. I'm happy we had a game like this, because me shooting the video late, I got to see the other games. And the thing with the Cowboys, I'm gonna go with them, and I'm gonna start with the other dynamic team. So it's really 3 teams that I feel like is our competition. I might have to add Buffalo to that because they got a loss. That's why I didn't add them to it yet. But the problem with Cowboys first, problem with them is that they need their defense to win a game. Dak Prescott can't win a game for them. What this game showed, Jalen Hurts can win a game. Problem with the Dolphins, they need their offense to win a game. If their offense is off, they simply can't win a game. 49ers haven't been tested yet. I think their test is, when you need Brock Purdy to win a game, can he win a game? That's their test. But all in all, their defense been holding it down so far. But to me, their test is, the run game is somewhat not working. The defense is somewhat not working. Can Brock Purdy win this game? I'm not sure. But what Jalen Hurts showed today, he can win a game. Now, Buffalo right now, they are cooking. Buffalo is cooking, man. They lost that first game to the Jets and took it to another level. Josh Allen looking good. The defense looking dynamic. This might be the year. I'm like, it might be a Buffalo Eagles. Buffalo looking really good on the AFC right now. Like, when I say they putting up points after that Jets game, they're putting up points. But hey man, what do you think and how do you feel about the games, man? Or our game, of course. Eagles, how do you feel about the dub? I honestly like this W because we went through adversity during the game. We showed that good teams is always willing to win. And sometimes your defense is just going to have an off day and you need your quarterback to be special. And that's exactly what he did. But this is Eagle Al. I'm up.